time for yoga. Today's mini flow will focus on two poses, boat pose and bridge pose. And they're brilliant for the muscles at the front of the body, the abdominals and the hip flexors, as well as the muscles here for the back and the glutes, the muscles around the hips. So we're going to do a couple of warm-up exercises just to start to fire up those muscles. You don't need anything special for today's practice, just use some comfy clothes and your mat. So when you're ready, come to tabletop. So we start here with the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees. And we're just going to take a little bit of movement, gently rocking forwards and backwards. And as you do this, start to be mindful of the muscles in your midsection. So you're going to pull the belly button ever so slightly in and up. And then take your movement side to side. Shoulders gently rolling over your wrists and the hips moving side to side over your knees. And then mix it up a little bit. You can send the shoulders in one direction and the hips in another. And don't forget to work the opposite direction as well. This normally releases quite a few clicks and creaks in the wrists and the hips and the knees. You can start to bring a little bit of movement into the shoulders and into the hips. And then eventually we're going to pause in our tabletop again. With that firmness through your middle, you're now going to take a big breath in, allow the belly to drop, look up, pull your chest forward and tilt your hips towards the ceiling. And then when you breathe out, the head's going to lower, push through the shoulders and tuck your hips in underneath you. 2 more times. Breathe in, belly lowers, feel the stretch through the front of the body. Breathe out, head lowers, feel the stretch in the back of the body, but the strength in the front. 1 more. Belly drops, breathe in. And breathe out. Head lowers, belly button pulls in. Okay, into tabletop again. You're going to take your right foot out behind you, so where the leg is long and in line with your hips. And then we're going to pulse the heel up towards the ceiling. So this will create a little bit of work for the muscles at the back of the leg, from the thigh up and into the hips. And then we're going to swap sides. So left foot back behind you, long in line with your hips, flex the foot, and just pulse the heel up towards the ceiling. Notice if you've still got that strength in the middle, you haven't allowed the belly to drop. And then we come back into tabletop. Coming back to our right side, heel behind you. And this time, either with the right leg on its own, or if your balance is feeling good, you can extend your left fingertips with the breath in. And on the out breath, bring the knee to your elbow underneath your body. So if the balance is a little bit tough today, keep your left hand on the floor. You can do this with a leg on its own. Breathe in and breathe out. We're using the hand. You've got that extra stretch, but a little bit of extra challenge. And the elbow to the knee. Good. All right, place the limbs down on the floor. Let's do the same with the other leg. So left leg extends out behind you, and if balance is with you, right fingertips forward, breathe in, stretch. And breathe out, elbow to knee. Good. One more time, breathe in, stretch. And elbow to knee. Last one. Good, well done. All right, step the limbs onto the floor. So you're going to bring your legs ahead of you now. I'm going to sit at a slight angle. So this first one is boat pose, the muscles for the front of the body. I'd love you to sit up really tall here, so try not to slouch. Think about lifting your collarbones up towards the ceiling. We're going to begin with the fingertips just behind the knees to help a little bit of balance. And as we breathe in, lift in the chest, peel your heels up off the floor. And we can start with a single leg lift. So the right leg comes parallel with the ground and then taps down. And the same with the left. And if you're looking for something a little stronger, we can do both legs together. Shins parallel with the ground and drops down. Now with both legs, this creates a bit more challenge for the balance muscles, so try and stay tall. And you've got an added option here that either with the single legs or the double, you can release your fingertips alongside your lower leg. A little bit more of a challenge. But if this is too much, let me show you another option. You can have your hands just behind your hips with the slightest lean into your hands. This will help with your balance while still working the muscles in the front of the body. Keep breathing, stay tall. Just a few more rounds to go. One more time. Good, well done. All right, bring your feet back to the floor. Bring your knees in towards your chest, give yourself a squeeze. And then we're going to make our way onto our backs. So with control, using the muscles in the midsection that we just fired up, slowly, slowly, lower down towards the floor. And then you're going to bring your heels and your hips close together so you can just tap the back of your ankles. Now my feet are hip distance apart, so there's a gap between my ankles and a gap between my knees. With my arms alongside, I'm going to pull my belly button down to flatten my lower back against the floor. I'm going to move this arm out the way so that you can see. So I'm not here, belly button draws in, lower back flattens towards the ground. And keeping everything else where it is, you're going to tuck your tailbone. So a tiniest lift up off the floor. And release. Okay, let's go one more time. Lift a little higher, tuck the tailbone. Start to feel the hips come up off the ground. And down. And this time, belly button draws in, tailbone tucks, hip lift. Then you're going to push into your heels to start to lift your hips up off the floor. Up, 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 up. Until there's a line from your shoulders to your hips and up towards your knees. This is bridge pose. So you'll notice a little bit of strength work in the muscles in the back of the hips and the muscles in the back of the legs. And maybe a little bit here in your lower back as well. And we're using those muscles to lift the hips up towards the sky. Keep breathing. You can keep your hands here by your side or wriggle your shoulders underneath your body, interlacing your fingers and pulling the knuckles towards your feet. This lifts the chest a little higher, so don't forget to breathe. Try and keep the hips lifted. You can make a bit of space for your neck by lifting your chin towards the ceiling. If you took the option to grab a hold of your knuckles, release your hands back towards the sides, and then from your upper back, slowly roll to the ground, mid-back, lower back, and lastly your hips touch down. Good, well done. Bring your knees in towards your chest, give yourself another squeeze. And then this is my favourite part. You're going to start to rock forwards and backwards, making it bigger each time to eventually bring you back to sitting. There we go, awesome. Okay, so another round of boat pose. I'm going to turn to the side again. So you've got the same option, fingertips behind the knees, sit up tall, sit bones on the ground, and either with a single leg lift or come up with doubles. This time we're going to aim for a leg extension. So we're still sitting tall. Single leg extends and comes back parallel with the ground at the leg lift. Good, well done. Now as you straighten your leg, the muscles here, the quadriceps, the front of the thigh, start to work a little bit harder as well. You've got a single leg option or both legs together. Double leg extension. Keep breathing, sit tall. Another variation for you is to untuck your fingers, have them alongside your lower legs. It's a little bit more challenging, but don't forget you've also got the option to have the hands here on the ground just alongside your hips. Just to support with balance, your abdominal muscles are still working hard. Good, well done. So plenty of choices for you. Fingertips tucked, single or double leg extensions, or the hands are alongside the legs. Again, single or double leg extensions, or the hands are here alongside your hips. One more round, wherever you are. Keep breathing. Yes, awesome. Knees to chest, feet back on the floor. Give yourself a squeeze. Fantastic. Okay, last round of boat pose. We're making our way onto our backs again, keeping the heels and the hips close together, flattening the lower back against the floor, and then we're going to push away with our heels, tucking the tailbone, lifting the hips, starting to rise up into our bridge pose, hips high, muscles in the back of the body engaged. Okay, this time, right leg, you're going to lift it up, bending the knee, shin parallel with the ground. Try not to let the hips sink when you do this. It is a little bit harder for the foot that's still on the ground for that leg to work to lift the hips. You can stay here with a bent knee, or if you want more challenge, extend your leg up towards the ceiling. Quadricep muscles working. Bend the knee again. Bring the foot back to the floor. Let's do the same with the left. The left leg lifts, shin parallel with the ground. Try not to let the hips sink. Keep using the right leg muscles to lift you. And either keep the knee bent or point the toes up towards the ceiling. Hips still high. Rebend the left knee and down towards the floor. One more round. Right leg, lift. Keep the knee bent for a moment. Find your balance. Extend the toes up to the ceiling as an option for you. Bend the right knee again. And the toes down towards the ground. Last time, left side, knee bends, shin parallel, hips lifted. Left leg extends. Bring it back down, bend it. And to the floor. Good, well done. As we did before, lower back or upper back first comes to the mat, then the mid back, then the lower back, and then the hips. Bend in the knees, bring them to your chest, give yourself a squeeze, and then rock again, forwards and backwards. Gaining momentum, sitting a little taller to eventually bring you up to sitting. And we're going to end this practice in child's pose. So flip yourself over, send your knees wide, hips over the heels, and then reach your fingertips forward, lowering the body down towards the mat. You can keep your arms straight or bend them, and then gently let your head come to rest. Now you might notice your heart rate and your breathing rate is a little bit quick here. That's okay, it means you've been working hard. So you're just going to take a few rounds of deep breathing. In through the nose, slowly out through the nose. And as your breathing slows, your heart rate slows. So you can stay here as long as you like to, as long as you need to allow your body to rest. Thank you for joining me for today's practice. I hope you enjoyed boat pose and bridge pose. We'll be seeing more of them again soon.